My parents demanded $1,800 a month to park my camper on their property. Meanwhile, my brother lived there rent-free with his wife and 4 kids. I'd been homeless for months after losing everything during the pandemic. My job vanished overnight. My apartment lease wasn't renewed, and suddenly, I was living in my pickup truck with a basic camper shell. I had nowhere to go, no savings left, and winter was coming. When I finally swallowed my pride and drove to my parents' house, I felt sick. I knocked on the door, rehearsing what I'd say. I wasn't asking for money or a room, just permission to park my truck on their property. They had nearly an acre of land, plenty of space. My dad opened the door and actually laughed when he saw me. He called my mom over, and they both stood there with these smug expressions. My dad said I could park there, but it would cost me $1,800 a month, the same as renting an apartment. I stood there in shock. That was more than I'd been paying for my actual apartment before I lost it for a parking spot on dirt. My brother wandered out from the kitchen, holding a beer from their fridge. He'd been living there for 3 years, rent-free, with his wife and 4 kids, taking up half their house. He smirked at me and said, "Guess you should have planned better, huh?" I wanted to punch him, but I needed that parking spot desperately. Sleeping in grocery store lots was dangerous. I'd been harassed twice already, and someone had tried breaking into my camper at 2 a.m. the week before, so I agreed. I paid $1,800 every single month for 6 months just to exist on the edge of their property. They told me to keep my truck out of sight from the road because it was an eyesore. My brother walked past me every morning on his way to his car, never paying a cent. Meanwhile, I worked brutal warehouse shifts, 10, 12, sometimes 14 hours. I showered at a gym. I ate cheap gas station food. I saved every euro I could because I refused to live like this forever. Then something changed. I got promoted to supervisor. The pay jumped significantly. I started pulling overtime. I opened a savings account and watched it grow. For the first time in years, I had hope. After 8 months, I had enough for a down payment. I found a small manufactured home 2 miles from work. It was modest, needed some repairs, but it was mine. I closed on it and spent the first night on an air mattress in an empty bedroom, and it was the best sleep I'd had in years. I posted one photo on Facebook, just the outside of the house with a simple caption, "Finally stable." I thought that was the end of it. 3 weeks later, on a Sunday afternoon, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find my entire family standing there. My parents, my brother, his wife, and their 4 kids. They didn't wait for an invitation. They just walked in. My brother's wife immediately started touring the house like she was shopping. She pointed at the bedrooms and said, "This one would be perfect for the boys." My brother nodded along, sizing everything up. Then he pulled me into the kitchen, away from everyone else. He said his family needed this place, that I should move back into the camper in the backyard while they lived in my house. He said it made more sense because they had kids and I was alone. I laughed. I actually laughed because I thought he was joking. He wasn't. When I said absolutely not, my mom stepped in. She said family helps family, that I was being selfish. My dad stood behind her, arms crossed, nodding along. My brother's wife started crying, saying they were desperate and I had so much space. I told them all to leave. My mom physically blocked the door. She said I wasn't thinking clearly, that I owed them this after everything they'd done for me. I asked what they'd ever done except charge me rent to park on dirt. My brother's wife lunged at me. She actually tried to hit me. I pulled out my phone and started recording. I told them if they didn't leave immediately, I'd call the police. That got them moving. As they left, my brother turned around and said, "This isn't over." He was right. A week later, I came home from work to find a moving truck in my driveway. My front door was open. My brother's family was inside carrying furniture into my house. Boxes labeled kids' room were stacked on my porch. I ran to the door. They drilled out my lock and replaced it. My brother's wife smiled at me and said my mom had given them permission. I locked myself in my truck and called 911. When the police arrived, my brother tried to show them a rental agreement. It had my signature on it, except I'd never signed anything. It was forged. The officers made them unload everything. My brother's kids were screaming and crying. My parents showed up halfway through trying to convince the cops this was all a misunderstanding, that I'd agreed to let them move in. As they packed the last box back into the truck, my mom grabbed my arm. She was crying, begging me to reconsider. She said they were family, and I was tearing everyone apart over a house. I pulled my arm away and looked at her. "When I was homeless and desperate, you charged me $1,800 a month to park on dirt you weren't even using. Now you break into my house and forge documents to steal it." The lead officer turned to my parents and said, "You're lucky he's not pressing charges for breaking and entering."